With graphics like that, this guy must work out.
Hey everyone, thought I would go over some work lights that I've used over the years. Ones I've found that work for me for doing remodels and handyman work, and the ones I don't use anymore. So I'll kind of go over them from most used to the ones that I don't use very often anymore. Start with these headlamps. I use, and there's not a specific type. I've got a DeWalt headlamp. These I've had for many years, but I keep at least 3 or 4 of these in my truck at all times. You can find them at Lowe's or Home Depot. When you're working in the evenings, or you're underneath the crawl space, or you're in an attic, it is extremely handy to have a headlamp. So I keep the AAA batteries in my truck at all times, and I keep at least 3 of these in my door panels. Cannot emphasize how handy these little lights are. So I have had these for several years. I won't really go over model numbers, but just a good headlamp. And there are a ton of different manufacturers of them. I think both of these are Energizer, but I would have one on hand at all times. So excellent little headlamps. Next over is my older 18 volt DeWalt light. Don't use this anymore because I don't do any I don't use any 18 volt stuff anymore. So, but I did use it at one time back when all I had was 18 volt. I carried this with me. Still works, and I still charge some 18 volt batteries. I don't think they make this anymore. I could be wrong, but I keep it in my shop, and I use it around my shop and around my house. But that was a really nice light back when I used a lot of 18 volt stuff. I'll kind of go back to these halogen lights. They make a ton of different styles. So this large Husky came with a huge platform, a tripod platform. I think a leg broke on it and it got thrown away. So I have used these quite a bit. I used it a ton when I was building my house. So large jobs are nice. It's literally like putting sunlight in a room. So for doing something that you want dry, or you want a source of heat and light, they're excellent. The only thing I don't like about them is the bulbs break really easy. So a lot of times when I get done with the job, I'm trying to throw everything in the truck, get going so I can get home. And you really can't throw these around that way. So, even though they got the cages on them and stuff, and besides that, if you use this for several hours and you unplug it, you're liable to melt something that it's sitting next to, putting it in the bed of the truck. So just something to watch. I've had several versions of it. This is a Home Depot cheaper generic version. I don't even remember where I got this one from, but I don't use these. They sit on a shelf in my shop. I'll use them on occasion. They do still work. I just don't take them with me anymore. Every time I would keep one in my truck, even the small one, the frames on them and everything are rugged, but the bulbs don't take a lot of abuse. So I keep them here in my shop where they don't get beat around too much. Next over, these 2 lights here, they're both Utililights. Utilitech, I think is what it's called. I've started using a lot of these. You don't have to worry about the bulbs breaking. You can tell these have been used on drywall jobs. And they're pretty rugged. The only thing I don't like is everything's pretty rugged except for these swivel points. I need to probably figure out a way to weld all that together. But the light itself is pretty rugged. This stays in my work trailer. I use it quite a bit. It's really bright. And it has an off and on switch. Little platform to set it up. Little handle here that you can mount it. It's not really heavy, but it'll leave a knot on your head if it falls. It's let's see, Might be able to see the model number on it there. They make several versions of this. I keep that in my trailer. Use it quite a bit on larger jobs, and then this one stays in my truck. Little wing nut fell off, but the mounting system on these is the worst part. The rest of the light's really durable. This has a charging port for 12 volts and 120 volts, so you can plug it into a regular outlet. It does have two different, it is dimmable. So nice little light. I keep this in my truck. Like I said, you can tell it's been beat around, but it's an excellent little light. I like the LEDs. DeWalt light, this is the current version. It's a new version of that one. I keep this in my toolbox in my truck at all times. It's got an extension on it, so you can hang it up if you're doing work and hang it on a rafter or on a nail. It is nice. It's got 3 LEDs. This will adjust, and it takes the 20-volt batteries. So nice little light. I have had this for about 2 years. And like most DeWalt things, you can do just about anything to it. It continues to work. The only thing I don't like about it is the lens on it gets scratched up, or paint or something on it. I probably should have bought a cell phone screen cover or something for that, but didn't. So, and then the flashlights. As far as carrying a good working flashlight, I have carried a lot of different ones over the years, and I despise replacing batteries. Or my kids will get a hold of it, I'll forget about it and leave it in my toolbox, and it'll turn on, the batteries die, and then it never fails. When I need it, it's dead. So I have started buying these rechargeable lights. This is probably my favorite. It's a Slide King. I got this, I think, at Ace Hardware. So it has... Let me see if I can get you there's the number on it. But it's got a charging port, so you can charge it with a micro USB port. It's extremely bright when it's charged up. And then the Slide King part is you can slide it out. Difficult to do with one hand. And use it as a work light. It also has an extremely powerful magnet on this other end, so you can put it on something, especially if I'm working at night trying to hook the trailer up. I can stick this on the bumper and have it, lighting up things. So really nice. It's rechargeable, which is my favorite part. I don't have to buy batteries. Next one is a Craftsman version. Got this at Lowe's here recently. And it's kind of a dual feature, so it doesn't have a slide portion. A little off and on switch is down here in the end, and it's got, just like the Slide King, it's got a bright, a dim, a strobe, and then off. But in addition to all that, let me try to get this off. So you unscrew this here. And it has a USB port. Let me try to focus it here. And a button, so you can use this to charge like your cell phone or something that you can charge with a USB port. So you can use it as a flashlight or a charging station. So kind of nice little light. So those are the lights I use. Probably, the ones I go to most are these new rechargeable, just because I don't have to buy batteries. So hope that helps. Let me know if you got any questions, and leave me some comments if you found some lights that work for you. But these are kind of what I've gone to and what I currently use. Thanks.
This guy needs to be a poster child for birth control. If you like that video, hit subscribe.